the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Very
Yeah,
excited to talk to you.
I'm very excited as well. Parakeet's my favorite spot in San Diego.
It is mine too.
Yeah. Are you in LA right now?
No, I'm in San Diego.
How was that opening?
The LA one?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you move there? Like why did you open a spot there?
I don't know. It was always something that I wanted to do to try and go to a market that it's like densely populated,
Mhm.
try new things.
Mhm.
I love changes. I
Mhm.
love like being at risk, trying new
Mhm.
things. So yeah, that was like the next step.
I love them. People love that concept in LA.
I I,
No?
I want to believe that that's true, and then that we're gonna do amazing.
Hopefully you do. Um I'd love to get straight into it, into Parakeet, building this project, this um, coffee shop, restaurant that serves food is medicine. How did that journey get its start?
Well, we like this honestly started from my life story. When my second daughter was born, I have two kids, two
Hmm.
girls. Both are adults now. But
Yeah.
when the second girl was born, she had a very rare disease that required chemotherapy. So she started chemotherapy very early on.
Hmm.
And we had to move to Texas to get to seek treatment.
Hmm.
So pretty much our all of our life turned upside down. And I am like I always wanted to believe that I could plan everything, control everything, and that I
Sure.
know like how the layout of my life was gonna look forever.
Hmm.
And then that happened and everything changed.
Wow.
And from that experience, I started to just go about life,
Hmm.
which was with whatever life presents itself to be. And from there, when we moved to Houston for her to seek treatment, I was kind of I had a 5 month old baby that was getting chemotherapy.
Hmm.
I didn't knew how to really connect with her just because she was, I don't know if she was in pain or
Wow.
nauseous or what was
Yeah.
going on in that little body of hers.
Hmm.
But I just felt as if I couldn't connect with her. I didn't know how to comfort her or what was that she needed. Um, and very early on during the journey to recovery, I discovered that we went to the hospital every week. They draw blood. They gave us her count. They were like, "Oh, she's very low on this and that, and please don't go to any public open spaces just because
Hmm.
you don't get anything." And
Mm.
then I started to learn uh, that if they said like she's very low in iron, I would go home when she was a little older, not 5 months, but probably,
Hmm.
and I would make whatever is that babies can eat at that age, that was like very with a lot of iron. So I started cooking black beans and
Hmm.
spinach and whatever, and I learned that her blood counts will get better,
Hmm. Wow.
but like from 1 week to the next.
Hmm. Wow.
The doctors, this is 18 years ago, so this was like very new, and even
Hmm.
the doctor was kind of surprised. I think he didn't even believe what I was saying, but he was just like, okay, whatever you're doing, just keep doing what you're doing because it seems to be working.
Wow.
I was insisting that it was spinach and just black beans, and he was like, okay, whatever, you can believe whatever is that
Yeah.
you believe. But that gave me a sense of comfort because in the midst of all of this like confusion, challenge, um, just like hardship, I
Hmm.
found a way to connect with her, and it
Wow.
made me believe that I could do a positive impact in her recovery.
Hmm.
So from there, um, I became addicted, for a lack of a better word, to
Hmm.
healthy eating.
Wow.
So it was very easy for me to do that. We were living in Houston. I went to Whole Foods all the time, only source organic ingredients,
Hmm.
only made organic food, and that kept me busy, and I found a way to just to go about this,
Mhm.
that I was being useful for something, and that I was helping her just overcome this terrible disease.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started.
Wow. That's beautiful. How was life before this experience health wise?
No, I've always been very healthy. Growing up in Mexico City,
Mhm.
people cook at home. It's like
Yeah.
homemade food, a lot of vegetables, just like real food.
Mhm.
So I was one of those families growing up where like my friends were like, "Why do you eat like that? Like steamed vegetables and steamed rice and just grilled chicken." And that's how my mom cooked, and
Mhm.
I'm very grateful for that because I learned a lot. And I've always exercised. I think, yeah, like in my whole family, like just healthy lifestyle was
Mhm.
always part of it. But I dive deep into it
Yeah,
when
of course.
this happened, and I started to educate myself a lot more. Um,
Mhm.
so I did everything that I could get my hands on. I did like all the online courses that they offered, and everything that I could, just to get a little bit more information.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, I have to say it now that I look at this in retrospective, I took everything to an extreme,
Okay.
which I think it was great because
Sure.
she was sick, like her
Yeah.
body pretty fragile and sick, and her immune system was like not amazing. But I did that for her and all of the family,
Wow.
so we were like 100% vegan. And I was like very dramatic when it came to food. Like if
Mhm.
my oldest daughter was invited to a party and she came back with a bag of candies, I honestly believe like she is like committing
Mhm.
suicide, and this is like
Mhm.
the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And it was like a reaction in the core of my body. Like, I
Yeah.
how come she's eating like artificial colors and bread number 4?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, very traumatic for me,
Sure.
because i I thought like, if you can get this amount of chemicals throughout your life, I thought Michelle had all that she could in her life.
Yeah.
And now it's like all clean eating from now on.
Mhm.
So um yeah, it was like a path to discovery. It was a lot of like being very cautious, very extremist, very, and that's
Sure.
why we ended up deciding to move to California.
Right. Why did you make the move?
Well, mainly because I think there was like a lot of things that went into consideration to make that decision, but um, it was like a very, very challenging couple of years of our life, like 5 6 years.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
I think I wanted to start over. Like, I wanted to leave everything behind, get a fresh start,
Mhm.
and leave this like, oh my god, all everything was wrong. And coming into my house, and it smelled like chemotherapy to me. It was like dark and
Yeah.
depressing and sad, and I just wanted to start over. And then I was very apprehensive with my food choices. And 18 years ago, it wasn't as easy as it is right now to
Sure.
source organic ingredients, even in
Yeah.
Mexico. So I was kind of like always very worried about that. And then Michelle's disease, what was in her lungs mainly, and her skull. So for me, living in Mexico City
Wow.
with
Yeah.
that pollution and that altitude was something that like I just couldn't.
Yeah.
And when she recovered, she was always like struggling from like respiratory diseases.
Mhm.
So I wanted to go as far away
Wow.
as I could. And so we needed to find a place where we can commute for work.
Mhm.
So it was either Miami or Texas or California. I didn't want to go back to Houston, if
Mhm.
because no, like all that I can think of when I go to Houston is just like hospitals and
Mhm.
sick children. And I didn't want to do that. And yeah, Miami, California. I always traveled here when I was young, so I loved it. It's
Mhm.
what's not to like.
Mhm.
So yeah, we just decided to do it, and we did it without thinking about anything other than wanting to start like having a new experience at life and leaving everything else like just
Yeah.
behind.
Did have coming to almost have like a fresh start in San Diego, did that come with Parakeet or was that born with that fresh start?
No, so I came here and I went into a master's program in LA.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Masters of
I
Arts
saw.
in Spiritual Psychology. So
Yeah.
I already did all of the nutrition part of it and health conscious part of it and the food component, like all the food aspect of
Yeah.
eating healthy. I had it down.
Well,
But to me, something was missing. It's like it's a lot of energy to put into what you choose to put into your body,
sure.
and I started to realize that it's much more than what you put into your body. It's everything that you consume, like
Well,
energetically and
yeah.
the beliefs and the words that you speak out and that like everything. So I did that program, which was truly healing for me
Wow.
because the best way to describe it, I want to say, it's just like group therapy.
Well,
So it was like a lot of talking about everything
mm-hmm.
and sharing your experiences and being heard by other people that were also trying to just like understand their path a lot better. And they gave us a lot of tools, just like about mindfulness and
Mm-hmm.
listening with your heart and with intention. And it was like it was about mindfulness. So that was very healing for me. I did that in the beginning, and it was like a 2-year program. It was the perfect transition. And
Mm-hmm.
then we said, like, we need to do something. Like, if we want to stay in San Diego, we need to start like
Yeah.
planting our seeds
Mm.
roots down. So we first opened a juicery, a
Okay.
juice concept, and that was very fun. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point in our lives, we were 100% vegan, so that was like organically what we had to do.
Yeah.
And so we opened the juicery concept. It was very fun and exciting. It was very new. I am a lawyer. I was doing like corporate law when I was living in Mexico. So nothing like that. Now I was serving juices and smoothies and acai bowl and
Mm-hmm.
handling the register and chopping the vegetables if needed. But I find like a lot of comfort and in being able to tell people that there's a better way for them to take care of their health.
Wow.
And when that happened, I think it was like the cherry on top where
Mm-hmm.
my healing was completed, just because it was like, okay, everything that I went through, as hard as it was, um, it was for a reason.
Yeah.
It was a reason that it's bigger than my suffering and myself. And oh my God, how difficult. It's just like it was for the better of the community and the world and anyone who's open to just find a better understanding of how a healthy lifestyle looks. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It came for a circle. It was like, okay, this was the purpose of me going through that,
Mm-hmm.
and it allowed me to shift into something that was like a very challenging, difficult experience into something that was super positive and uplifting and happy. And I
Wow.
was super grateful about that. And every time that like a customer walked in and they were like, oh my God, this is super healthy, I don't like it, and I'm like, well, give it a try. And then they came back the next day and they were like, I really felt very good. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
super happy about it, because it's like that was the whole purpose why I did the business. It was never in my mind that I want to have like a successful
Mm-hmm. Okay.
huge chain of whatever. Like that was never the intention. The intention was for me
Mm-hmm.
first to be able to eat whatever is that I want to eat, because it
Sure.
was very surprising that I came to California and I couldn't find as many options as I thought I would.
Yeah.
And then just to provide better quality food to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's how it started. And then we started connecting with the community. We People really believed in what we were providing
Wow.
because we were very honest and we were always there. And then they were like asking for more. And
Mm-hmm.
we said, okay, if you guys want more, let's open now a cafe. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where it came about. We really didn't know anything about the restaurant business. We didn't know anything about the hospitality industry, less in the States.
Hmm.
Uh, but we learned one
Yeah.
step at a time, and now this is where we are.
I'm curious, why a parakeet?
You know what? Like every time, like I used to tell Michelle's story, it was like so sad and depressing and
Mm,
challenging, and I wanted to shift that into something super happy and uplifting and colorful and fun.
yeah.
What's more colorful
Wow.
and fun than a parakeet?
Hmm.
So yeah, I wanted to just like shift that completely.
Yeah. Wow. And besides this concept or value as food as medicine for parakeet, how did what you learn from your masters apply to the values and creation of parakeet? Does the question make sense?
I don't know that I understood it. Can you?
Yeah. So besides the concept or value that parakeet serves food as medicine,
Yeah.
the ideas that you learned at your masters, how did that apply to the creation of parakeet besides the food aspect?
Well, I think just most important was the sense of community and connection
Mm-hmm.
with other people, um, and also like the acceptance of what is, and
Mm-hmm.
allowing a space for people to be what they want to be, to create what they want to create,
Wow.
like a safe space for everyone to be. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like how Parakeet was born. Like it was created to be a community space
Mm-hmm.
and to bring all people from different, like whatever they came together and just open up a conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much create a community, but also being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
allow yourself to just like take risks,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, like honestly we didn't knew anything about what we were
Mm-hmm.
doing, but we had
Wow.
such a huge belief that what we were doing was right for us and from everyone that would come to the restaurant, that we just like kept moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I think that's how I want people to think about this endeavor, like
Yeah.
risks, do things with intention and with your heart in it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and don't attach to like the result, because
Mm-hmm.
the important part is the journey. Like I know it sounds funny now, but honestly, like we were not looking for a money maker. We were
Mm-hmm.
looking to provide a service. Like I honestly believe that people needed that. I'm like, when I was in Mexico, like I cut the story very short, but when I was in Mexico after Michelle recovered, I was I had this huge need to pay it forward, because I could see, as challenging and hard as this experience was for me, I could see how fortunate I was. Like I had
Mm-hmm.
a health insurance for starters, and I took my baby and seek treatment anywhere in the world where I wanted. And she
Yeah.
was healthy and she recovered and she had access to the best medicines and the best equipment and the best whatever. And I know how expensive that was,
Mm-hmm.
but I was fortunate enough to have like insurance that paid for that. And so I had this huge need to pay it forward. Like I'm from Mexico. It's an underdeveloped country. I know how many
Yeah.
people are there, how many people don't have access to medicine. And so it was very important for me to just do something.
Yeah.
And I started working in the health department in the Seguro Popular.
Okay.
And I was
Wow.
between the government and the um, nonprofit organizations,
Okay.
and to find like needs. What is that the government already provides? Because at that time, the government was paying for chemotherapy treatment for all of the kids under 18.
Okay.
But
Mm.
also, like all of these NGOs, they want to like pay for chemotherapy. And we were like,
Yeah.
please don't do that. Like we are already doing that. Just pay for the uh, fees for travel for the families and the
Mm-hmm.
kids, pay for the hotels, pay for things that they don't show up for their treatments because they don't have they don't have a way to pay for
Mm-hmm.
the trip to get to the hospital. So I was doing that, and so I learned about a lot about bureaucracy, and
Mm-hmm.
it was very, very difficult also because we were trying to do
Mm-hmm.
the right thing,
Yeah.
but we couldn't. Like, it's just hard. And so I learned from that that we need to not to cure disease, but to prevent disease.
Sure. Of course.
I'm like, if I really want to make an impact, I need to start educating people in any way
Yeah.
that I can about preventing disease,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not enough money in the world to cure everyone
Sure. Yeah.
a disease. So that was my mission.
Yeah. That was well said. Are
Yeah,
you opening a spot in Mexico soon?
I don't know. That may be.
You should. We
Yes.
really need something like that over
Yeah,
here.
we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
That can
How,
happen. I don't know.
how did you become aware of the issue of seed oils, of using microwaves, of pesticides, using organic foods, of working with farmers? How did this become awareness for you guys?
Well, it just like as I said, I studied everything that I could when Michelle was going through that, and yeah, I was reading everything. I was going into like a million online courses, and
Mm-hmm.
if you want to find information, it's pretty accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and once
Yeah.
you know it, it's like you cannot know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
was doing my like online course, they show you all the videos about like farming of chickens and cows, and it's like you cannot unsee it. It's like, now what do I do? Like, how
Yeah.
can I eat a piece of meat or chicken ever again after watching that video?
Yeah.
So the information is there, and yeah, once you know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So how are you sourcing your ingredients or food right now? What's the idea behind it?
The idea is highest quality ingredients that we can get always. That's the commitment.
Yeah.
We use local farmers. We use the highest quality proteins that we can get. That goes for eggs and chicken and fish and
Yeah.
everything. It's just
Yeah.
the highest quality that we can get all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Beans for the coffee. And
Yeah.
of course, microwaves, we all know how detrimental that is to the food. So no, we don't, we make food like
Like
as if
food
you
should be
were
made.
exactly as if you were at your house.
Yeah, I love that.
And then yeah, we don't need we don't have a fryer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty old school, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
way it should be.
How did this start? When you opened the juicery, this is the process that you went through? Like you started with the same idea?
Well, yeah, that's the same idea. I was just really looking for something where I would like be comfortable eating myself.
Mm-hmm.
Eh,
Wow.
at that time, juicery made more sense just because I was vegan, raw, like all the extremes that you can name. And, but then life is a pendulum, like it goes from one extreme to the other. And then after Michelle fully recovered, and I went like, I believe that she was healthy again because that took time. And I started to notice that like there's no one size fit all when it comes to food. Like not everyone needs to be vegan and not everyone
Yeah.
needs to eat red food.
Okay.
Like we are like individuals and we have different needs. And of course, she was sick and her immune system was very low and her body was working overtime to heal, but the rest of the family was not. So I learned
Wow.
that balance is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And you can eat some one things when you're sick, you can eat one things when you're not sick, when it's winter, when it's spring. Like there's
Yeah.
so many variables, like even your age or
Mm-hmm.
like the time of the year, the month, so Parakeet started like that. Like first it was the juicery, raw, vegan, whatever. Then when we started the cafe, everything was for the most part vegan.
Mm-hmm.
The menu was super, super limited, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a few egg dishes, but it was
Okay.
very troubling for me. Like we needed to find the best quality egg that we could
Yeah.
to be pasture raised and organic, and like everything, all the labels, and but for the most part, the base was vegan, and then I
Mm-hmm.
started getting feedback from customers saying like, I love it, but you know what? My husband never wants to come here because he never gets full, whatever. So I'm like, okay, we need the intention for me is to provide better quality food for everyone, regardless
Yeah. Wow.
where you are in your like health journey. So I'm like, okay, I need to do this more approachable,
Hmm.
because the people who think like me, they are already there.
Yeah.
I want to get the people who don't. I
Yeah.
want to get the guy that comes overweight and says like, I don't like green, and that's the person that I want to transform into someone that loves to eat green.
Yeah.
So we started incorporating a little bit more options, always honoring the quality standard.
Hmm.
If I were to add, like when we added the chicken, it needed to be like the highest quality chicken that we can get, pasture raised, grass fed, all of
Hmm.
the non hormones, whatever, like everything, and so that people can go and still get the parakeet experience, but like
Yeah.
scared, like we I didn't want to scare people off by being like super like niche and tight.
Yeah.
And I learned that it was like very interesting for me to notice that people really want that to get there,
Hmm.
but it's a process. And
Hmm.
so yeah, so that's it's been very exciting. I've
Hmm.
learned a lot. It's been evolving and changing a lot. And as we have been growing, it has been I have been able to provide more things that have been very exciting. Like when we were like a small tiny coffee shop, I couldn't make my own milks. Now we can make our own almond milk. So I know
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Like now, next thing on the books that I'm very excited about, we're gonna start making our own savory bread.
Mm.
You,
Like a bakery.
well, we all of the baked goods we make ourselves, and
Yeah.
they amazing, top notch, high quality. I know what's in it. I love it. I eat one every day.
Oh,
But
savory bread. Okay.
the savory bread, where we do use for the toast and
Hmm.
whatever,
Oh,
that
wow.
we buy.
Hmm.
But now we can make ourselves. So we are developing a vegan, gluten-free, refined sugar-free sourdough bread that it's mind-blowing. And
Yeah.
it's coming out soon. So yeah, like we're growing, but we are still like trying to get better and better and accomplish more. And you can accomplish a lot of things when you grow.
Mm. Yeah. I love that. How do you develop these new ideas? What goes behind the developing process?
And we are very fortunate to have hired a group of very talented, successful people that love what they do,
Okay.
understand the concept, and then they just like how committed we are to serving high quality food and never compromising that. So they
Okay.
jump, and that's for everything Parakeet. I think the success of Parakeet stems precisely from there. Like Jonathan and I had an idea,
Hmm.
but then the people who helped us develop the concept were crazy talented. They fell in love
Yeah.
with our idea and they made it in a way that we could never have done it because we are not professionals in
Hmm.
that part. And then the first chef that helped me develop the menu. So yeah, it was very easy for me. I had like my list of all of the dishes that I wanted to serve, but I didn't know how to do that in a restaurant environment. And she
Sure.
helped me, and that was amazing. And
Hmm.
saying like the first pastry chef that we hired was like more like homemade, like a baker from like
Okay.
whatever. And now we have like a super talented pastry chef, French,
Hmm.
like
Oh,
super
I love your pastries so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're the best. So, like, but it's because we have been always super open to know that we need to hire people who can do what we want to accomplish better than
Hmm.
um, and I think that's why we have been successful, just
Hmm.
because we know that we don't know anything.
Mm.
Just we
Yeah.
have amazing ideas, and then we attract the right people. Same happened with our coffee concept. Like we were always trying to provide the best, the best, the best, until finally, like we have an amazing roaster. She
Hmm.
has a certification. It's called Q Grader. That
Okay.
is like only like 600 people in the states or have
Wow.
that. And
Okay.
she's super talented and super passionate about coffee. But I think like they can feel and see how much we care about the quality
Hmm.
and how committed we are not to sacrifice any of that for a few dollars. So that's
Wow.
how we get to have such an amazing, talented team.
Hmm.
And yeah, and just we are still learning as we go. I
Of
have
course.
so many unanswered questions.
Hmm.
we will try to do the best that we can.
Yeah, I love that. Are you still vegan?
No. So I was vegan for a long time, and
Hmm.
I started to have a lot of health issues,
Okay.
and I went to all like Eastern medicine doctors, and I
Okay.
went to the Chinese doctor and this and that and that and that, and everyone just kept telling me like, Carol, you need to eat animal protein.
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, I will not do it. And then I went to another doctor, and everybody told me that like it's not a huge amount, not for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're not suggesting an American diet. We're
Yeah.
just eat a little bit of high quality protein. And they told me like you grew up on that, and then you just like cut it, and your
Mm.
body
Okay.
is like not used to it.
Yeah.
So, but and I just like had it in the back of my mind, and I'm like, I will not do what they say. I don't care
Yeah.
what. And I was trying to eat as many beans and nuts and seeds and as I
Hmm.
could. And then I started to lose my eyesight, and that was a very
Wow.
like traumatic experience for me because it felt like it was going in decline.
Hmm.
And, and I'm like, I need to do something about it. So then I was like, okay, I will eat fish. So I went to my favorite sushi place,
Hmm.
and I had like sushi, and I swear I could see better
Yeah.
after that.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying, like, there's no one size fits all for anyone. I
Yeah.
think a healthy balance is very important, and you just need to listen to your body.
Hmm.
And I think we need to eat with our bodies, not with our minds. Like when I did
Wow.
a program where I learned everything about everything, you are hearing the expert of each approach. So
Hmm.
you're pretty much like listening to an extreme after an extreme after an
Hmm.
extreme.
Hmm.
So then you listen to this guy who's doing a paleo diet who looks like a Greek god, and you're like, I want to do that. And then you
Yeah.
listen to someone who is vegan, and I want to do that. And it's very like an Ayurvedic doctor. It's very difficult, but then like you need to try and see what fits.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So what would that mean? What is eating with your body, not the mind? Like with your intuition, what you feel?
I think if you like kind of like feel like you want some animal protein,
Yeah.
you need to find some source that makes you feel comfortable, that you know like, well, I'm speaking more for myself, that it's sustainable, that it's not like killing the environment, you know, like
Hmm.
the best that you can in a way, and then choose that and do it in moderation. We don't need that much, but yeah, it sits better with my body when I do it. And just stop thinking about that so much.
Hmm.
Go with the flow, you know. It's like,
That's a really important message for me for sure right now.
see, I think we spend so much time and energy trying to do what we think we should be doing.
Yeah.
So we need to chill,
Hmm.
sit back,
Yeah.
relax, and just do what we have to do. And then use all of the energy that it's left to create, to be grateful,
Hmm.
to do good
Wow.
deeds, to help
Yeah.
each other, to
Yeah.
be kind. I
Yeah.
don't.
No, I love that. I love that. Why were you vegan in the first place?
It was all because of Michelle. So when I did the course, um, I fell in love with this girl who was, she had a very very bad um, tumor on her hígado,
Liver.
liver, on her liver,
Hmm.
and and she was like diagnosed. It was like 4 level cancer. They said like you're
Wow.
gonna die within a year.
Yeah,
And
wow.
she said like, no, I will not die. So she changed her diet completely, and the tumor is dormant. Like she still has the tumors,
Hmm.
but she's fine.
Wow.
And she has her cookbook and her this and that and that, and I fell in love with her
Hmm.
because her story is very empowering. And at that,
Yeah.
I had a baby struggling. I needed to believe that miracles happen. So
Wow.
um, yeah, so I bought into that.
Hmm.
And I said, like, if this person can keep a tumor dormant in the liver, like, you know, like I will do whatever she says
Hmm.
I have to do. And that's what I did. But
Yeah.
the part that I forgot is that thank God I don't have a tumor in my liver that it's
Yeah.
dormant, you know, like,
Wow. Yeah.
um, but that's the story. Like I was trying to do like teach an example to Michelle, and I couldn't like not let her eat something and then be eating it myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was trying to do what was best for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What has been the biggest takeaway working with farmers and farms, actually getting to know and see where your food comes from, which is an experience you don't see in most restaurants and in a supermarket, right?
I think, yeah, I've learned a lot. I was always wanting to source my ingredients from like a farm that it's called JR Organics, but they are
Oh,
crazy expensive. And I couldn't,
yeah.
like, I couldn't buy from them. We were trying to buy like from smaller farmers, But when I went to the place, I'm like, okay, now I understand. And pretty much I learned that I was so drawn to them in particular because they care so much about what they do as much as I care about what,
Mm,
and you can see it, and you can see how much glee and joy they find
yeah.
having the perfect cilantro, like it's like they love it so much and they take care of,
Yeah.
like, it's just like amazing to see people caring about what they are doing and providing to other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the intention, like just caring
Hmm.
about each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. What has building Parakeet taught you about the world?
I think I don't know, that's a very good question. I think I don't know, like when you say the world, I think about people.
Hmm.
I think that he's it has taught me a lot about being humble
Wow.
and about like just understanding where everyone is, about taking risks, but also like I don't know about how powerful food is. Like this is
Hmm.
something that you put into your body, how
Hmm.
emotional food is.
Hmm.
It has taught me a lot about people, how they interact, how they treat each other,
Wow.
how they react. Like
Hmm.
we're a sophisticated species, to say.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. For another question, for kids my age that I'm 18, by the way, who want to go against the grain, who want to create, who want to build, um, what advice would you give them? And I guess what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Take risks, but follow your heart. Like I think do things with intention, and that means something to you. I think like there's too many people in the universe.
Yeah.
Like each one of us have a special purpose, and we're here for a reason. So find your reason to be and just pursue
Wow.
that.
Hmm.
Don't try to do something because it seems like it's a good idea, or because somebody else was successful doing that. Just do what you believe, because
Hmm.
what makes you unique, it's what is going to make you succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. If you follow that, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. For my last question, um, what brings you most joy in life?
I think just like sharing my passions with other people,
Hmm. Wow.
just sharing my true self
Hmm.
with the universe.
Hmm. I love that. So this is a great platform to do so.
Thank you.
Yeah, Carol. Again, thank you so much for today, for your words, your wisdom, for what you do, which has changed a lot of people's lives. I'm sure it's an amazing experience always to have breakfast at Parakeet. I love to go get an espresso. I love to go get a croissant, my breakfast. Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much. This was very fun.